Hello and welcome back to another episode. The other day in my English class, in one of my English classes, we were talking about something like a topic that I really enjoy, thinking about actually. We were talking about art and what makes a work of art good or bad. And we were kind of trying to discuss what matters more, the audience's response to a work of art, or the critic's response, or the intention of the artist. And so it's an interesting discussion to have. And why do I mention this now? Because I kind of related it to YouTube. And honestly, the way I see YouTube and YouTube videos is kind of in the realm of arts, because it requires creativity. So I was kind of thinking about me and this. Now obviously I don't think these are good videos, but something that I related to was we mentioned how sometimes when an artist does something, let's say it's an author and they write something, the first book, for example, it blows up, okay? But it wasn't their intention for it to blow up, but it does. So after it blows up, now they have fans, and they have an audience who expect more from them. So the second book they make is out of that expectation, and not out of just their natural love for it, or that same intention they had when they did their first book. And I relate this to me a lot, and a lot of things in general. We all kind of suffer more under pressure, or an athlete, when they become really famous, they have all eyes on them. It's more pressuring, and they might start to mess up more. At least with me, I definitely feel once I am aware of the fact that I might be perceived by other people, I just start to mess up, right? I mean, I'm not an insane celebrity, but even on a very small scale, just doing these videos that get maybe an average of 30 views, I still feel sometimes I don't know how to be fully authentic or comfortable with the camera, because I feel I'm thinking about the fact that there might be people watching, or the fact that I've been doing this for maybe 2 months now, and I've kind of categorized myself as YouTuber as part of who I am, and so now I have to fall under that expectation of being a YouTuber, even though I have not that many subscribers or views or anything. But because I told myself this is something I really want to do, and I told all these people around me this is something that I really love doing, now it's sometimes when I do the videos I mess up, and I don't know how to speak, and it doesn't come natural to me. Most of the time I would say it's really hard. So I kind of just thought about that. There's a lot of times where I want to record a video and I have amazing ideas, but I sit down to speak and I don't know how to say it. And I feel I have this insane fear of I'm never going to fulfill that satisfaction of the vision that I have in my mind of what I want my videos to be. And it's so hard for us. It's so hard for us to hold on, obviously. It's so hard for us to be able to have that faith in like the future that like, no, this is going somewhere good. Instead, it's much easier to go like, this is going to fail. This is never going to be as good as I want it to be. Because at the beginning, you have no idea, like, but it's all about trusting the process and showing up for yourself over and over again. And I think I am able to have this faith in myself now because I've seen it work in other things, in other aspects of my life. And so because I've seen it work, even though it was hard and it took time, but it allowed me to believe that like these things are possible if we stick to them, like things can turn out good. So as much as I do have this fear inside of me of like, oh, like my videos are never gonna be good and stuff, like I do say that to myself, I still come out here and do it, and I embrace my shitty videos, and like it's all about just like giving it time. And even if they never turn out the way that I imagine them in my head, even if I never get that good or whatever, I'm still feeling content within myself that I tried. But going back to the topic of like fulfillment, I feel like I'm in this constant like urge or constant search for fulfillment in my life. Like I'm living my life normally, I'm doing my day-to-day things, but there's these like times in my life where I would call them maybe like phases that I go through in my life, where even though everything even though everything feels okay, I feel like sad on the inside, or like something feels empty inside. And it's kind of like I start asking myself like, what's wrong? Like I have amazing things going on for me, like why do I have this feeling inside of me? And I feel like I'm never like I never feel fulfilled with whatever I have. And obviously that's not like a good thing. Like I feel like we always want more. I feel like I'm almost wired in the way that I am to always crave more. No matter what I have, I want the absolute best of that thing. Like, and even though I'm aware that this is not a good way of thinking, and even though I try to journal and appreciate what I have, that feeling is kind of in my subconscious, you know, like, and it's not always there. And I feel like it comes in my kind of like quiet moments in life, like on those days where maybe I didn't socialize that much with my friends and family. Maybe I didn't do much, maybe I was just sitting around, and that voice comes to me and it's like your life is boring, like there's nothing going on, like, and it's not like it says those things, it's just that I feel them, and I feel like something's wrong. And it's like, what do we do with that? You know, like I'm aware of it. I'm very aware. This is why I'm speaking about it. And I'm aware that it's not a good way of thinking. And it's like, I almost want to escape this kind of feeling. I want ways to cope. And I feel like a very common term that I've been hearing lately is we look for things to fill the void, right? And I say that a lot. And I feel like when we do things with the purpose of filling a void, we do it with a very unhealthy approach. So say like you're filling the void by eating. So at that point, you're not eating with the intention of like fueling yourself and, you know, giving your body what it needs to sustain energy. No, you're eating maybe like very crappy food, which eating crappy food is okay, but you're eating it maybe excessively to the point where you're just eating it to fill the void out of your emotions and maybe out of control even. And I feel like a lot of people I know have been through that, and I think it's normal to go through that from time to time. It's natural maybe. And sometimes we don't eat to fill the void, and that's also unhealthy. But that's with food. It can also be with other things. Sometimes maybe we sleep to fill the void, or we don't sleep to fill the void. Oh my god, I can go on forever about the topic of sleep because of how shitty my sleep is. Like, it's, now that I'm saying it, I'm realizing that it can really be both ways. It can be either ways. It's like, I know people who would oversleep just to escape their reality. And me, for example, I'm the opposite. I tend to not sleep because I want myself to feel so much pain to the point where I numb the pain of reality. That sounds terrible, but I do that. And I'm aware that it's wrong. I don't do it to the point where it's like affecting me too much. I do it moderately. Like, I haven't slept the past 2 nights, but I know that I'm gonna sleep tonight, inshallah. What else? Sometimes it's relationships. We say that, oh, like, we just like this person to fill the void. At that point, you don't like them for good reasons. You don't like them for them, you know. No matter what it is, when we do it with the intention of filling a void, I feel like I've said that so many times, it's not healthy. But then what is a healthy way of doing it then, right? What is a healthy way of coping with this feeling? Like, I'm genuinely asking myself, because I don't know. I do want to share a very random thought though. Some things that I feel like have helped me are, well, this is going to sound random in the context of this video, but I'm Muslim, and I used to pray when I was younger, and then I stopped praying for years. Okay, I don't even know how many years, but lately I started praying again, and I don't see it as like it's helping me fill the void, because at that point, if I saw it as that, then I would have done it at any other time before. There's something so special about prayer. Just having it be a part of your routine. And obviously there's a lot of like spiritual meaning to it as well. You feel like you're doing something for something so much bigger than you that you don't see, but you just believe in it. And something about that kind of soothes you. Like soothes you. I don't know how to say that word. So I don't know what it is exactly about prayer, and maybe I'm not like the most religious person, or maybe I don't understand the full meaning of prayer, but I feel like I'm now realizing that if I just approach it as, you know, this thing that I just have in my routine, a task that I need to do, you know, a certain amount of times during the day, 5 times a day, it truly gives me a sense of peace in my life. And I used to always tell myself like, oh, I don't pray because I don't understand like why we do it, or why we do it in the way that we do it. I don't understand why we need to do wudu. I don't understand why we do it in the positions that we do it. Like, there's a certain way of doing it. I don't understand why we need to cover up as women, all these things. Maybe I used to have all these questions, but now I'm realizing that like maybe I don't need to have all the answers right now. Maybe if I'm able to do it because I know how to pray, then I'll just do it, and it does make me feel a certain way. So maybe I don't need to have all the answers, and I don't know why it took me years to realize that like I don't need to know all these answers to do the thing. But everybody's different, and I know that like the answers are out there. Well, maybe not, you know, the full answers, but maybe there's people who know more than me. Then one day I'll know more about this, but for now it does feel like something good in my life. Because a lot of the time you realize that like, I don't know, this is a bit too deep, maybe too philosophical, but like, I don't know, like life feels so, especially nowadays, it feels so like a lot of the time like superficial, and it feels like very materialistic. And wow, a lot of people are out running today. Like everyone's running. Love that. And it feels very like, oh, I need to have a perfect Instagram, and I need to, well, maybe it doesn't feel that way, but I feel that way. So I don't know about y'all, but like I feel like that, you know. And it makes me depressed. Like, it makes me really sad. So I feel like having something spiritual in your life is important. I don't know why I felt the need to share that, but I did. I don't know if I have depression. I've never been diagnosed, but I do feel depressed at times. So I feel like that's also natural. Like, yeah, like it's not possible to be happy all the time, I don't think. What else did I want to say that helps me cope? It's so easy for us to say that like, if we just distract ourselves enough throughout the day, then that way we won't need to think about anything, you know? We don't need to feel anything, so we'll be fine. So we just need to find enough things to do throughout the day to not think about anything. But that is not healthy. You know, I don't think that's healthy. It doesn't sound healthy to me. And even if that does work out for you, that does not last long, because our bodies can only do so much. So what ends up happening is you reach a point of burnout. And so it's not sustainable. You know, regardless of how it makes you feel, it's not sustainable. So it's not realistic. So I don't believe in that at all, even though I've tried it. I've experienced it without my intention. You know, sometimes I happen to have a lot in a day, and by the end of the day I'm like, oh my god, like that was such a good day. But that's only because I didn't give myself the time to sit with myself and feel anything. I was just distracted the whole day. So of course it's gonna feel like a good day. And some people become addicted to that feeling, and they do it over and over and over. And then they realize that they can't even sit with themselves for 5 minutes with just their thoughts and no task on their hands. And that can happen very easily. So what I would say is that that's not healthy, and that it's not the right way to escape our problems. It shouldn't be a way of escaping our problems. You know, maybe you let a day pass where that happens, or 2 days, but to constantly chase that feeling of being distracted and being busy with a lot of things every single day to escape our own thoughts is not the answer. So But that also doesn't mean that we should just sit with our thoughts all day and not do anything. It's all about having like some kind of middle ground where we're giving ourselves enough time to sit with ourselves and with our thoughts, but also pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones and actually working on towards something, because that also makes us feel better, right? I think so. I think that makes us feel better. Like me going to class, me working towards something, like this reward in the end of having a degree, like doing an assignment and receiving a grade, you know, having these small rewards to chase after, or, you know, to have this in my life is, first of all, such a privilege, but also it just feels like it's enough to keep me, you know, occupied with something, but I don't see it as I need to put all my energy into this thing and not think about myself for a second, because, you know, that would mean that I'm escaping my problems by putting all my energy into school, you know? Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like I'm talking about a lot of things at once. But even though, like, I say this to myself, I still find myself feeling like this emptiness or this sadness inside of me at times of like, I want more, you know, I don't know how, like, I'm able to sit with my thoughts by myself, doing nothing and listening to my thoughts, and I'm also able to be productive and like go to class, do my assignments, go running with the team and by myself, and I'm able to have both in my life. I'm able to do both, and I'm able to try to have a balance. Sometimes I mess up. Sometimes I do eat, like, you know, out of trying to fill the void and out of my emotions. Sometimes I do that, and sometimes I don't sleep because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, oh my god, my friend just commented on my video. Thank you, Rawand. I miss you. Yeah, like sometimes I mess up, you know, even like with running. Like, I love running, but sometimes I do it with the wrong intentions, and that's fine. Like, as long as I'm, you know, trying to journal and talk to people, going to therapy from time to time helps. Trying to stay grounded and be aware of what I'm doing helps, because we're never going to be perfect. We're going to mess up, even when we're aware of our problems. We're gonna mess up. But I think what I'm trying to say with all this is like, okay, like, what is the answer then? How do you deal with the sadness? So I think for me, there's a couple of things I also would like to mention. Like, today, I walked out my dorm, you know, like right now, and I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, damn, like, I feel like shit. But like, why? Like, I've had such a great day and I've had such a great week and life feels so amazing, and I have amazing people who I talk to every single day. So I think at those moments you have to ask yourself, well, what's, like, let me reflect for a second to trace back my thoughts and see what's making me feel this way. Like, genuinely sit with yourself and ask yourself that question. What's making you feel like shit? And trust me, you will find out what the thing is. And I feel like a lot of the time we are afraid to admit to ourselves what that thing is. And something that's so insane to me is that there are times where I was so ashamed of what I feel inside that I couldn't even put it in my journal. And my journal is supposed to be my safe space. It's somewhere like that I know nobody's gonna read it, and I do it for myself. And when you're like, so ashamed that you can't even put it in your journal. For me, I had to practice getting closer to my journal. I had to work on my relationship with the journal, and I had to tell myself, like, I had to break that ice. I had to teach myself how to write the most, like, terrifying things that I'm so ashamed of. I had to learn how to put it in my journal. Like, I had to reach that point of, like, I have nothing to hide from my journal. And I feel like if you're able to put these deep thoughts that you have inside of you somewhere, even if it's your journal, once you put it somewhere outside of here, it is so freeing and life-changing, I would say. And I feel like once you're able to do that, you're gonna be able to admit to yourself what those things that are bothering you are. And sometimes when you do find that thing that's really bothering you, you're like, well, now what? Like, I can't do anything about that. Like, I can't change anything about that. And at that point, you kind of have to teach yourself how to accept, to sit with those feelings and still try to, like, move forward. I feel like I'm speaking in very broad terms, but I hope I'm making sense. This sounds like very depressing, like, from my side. But every single time I've sat down with myself, tried to slow down and reflect as to what it is that's bothering me, I was able to find that thing that's bothering me. And sometimes I'm able to do something about it, and sometimes I'm not. And sometimes all it takes is time. Sometimes, like, you go through a certain period of time without really doing anything but giving it time, and you look back and you're like, well, I feel a lot better about it now. Like, sometimes you just gotta be patient. And I'm not saying this in a way of, like, you gotta suck it up and move on and toughen up. No, not really. I'm just saying it like sometimes it just takes time. Like, it's gonna suck. It's gonna really suck. And you don't have to toughen up. You can cry as much as you want. You can be sad as much as you want. But have that faith that, like, it does get better. How did I get to this topic? I don't know. I just think that the weather is great right now, and the energy in the air is, like, great. And I felt like making a video, and I felt like being philosophical. So that's what I'm doing. And I felt like making a really long video, and this is gonna be a really long video. So another thing I want to say is that, like, I have this tendency of, like, telling myself or blaming myself for always, like, regretting the choices that I make. And having that little voice in your head that tells you, like, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? All the time is so draining. And I'm always constantly looking for things in me to blame myself for. And I do it also without noticing. It's also just there, like, you know? And what do you do with that? Like, how do I stop myself from doing it? And maybe there's some past trauma that allows me to do that. But you just gotta live with it, right? But it is possible to break that pattern. I feel like teaching yourself how to trace or, like, identify those moments when you are blaming yourself, then that helps. You know, like, I don't know if this applies for everyone, but there's a ongoing conversation in my head all the time. Like, there's voices in my head, there's characters, people. So I hear myself when I say, like, Jenna, why did you do that? Or, you know. And so I'm able to stop myself in my head and be like, hold on, don't call yourself stupid now. Let's change let's change the language that we're using towards ourselves. And I say that to myself in my head. Like, I talk to myself. And sometimes I say it out loud. Oh my god, speaking out loud to yourself, that has been my best form of therapy. Oh my god. I try to express this to people, my friends. I try to tell them, like, record videos of yourself speaking. I don't know, maybe it doesn't help everyone, but for me, holy shit, that has been really helpful. Insanely helpful. Once you hear your thoughts out loud, whew. And I watch it back. I watch it back because I reflect on my thoughts after saying them out loud. It's a whole process. Yeah, I sit there for 2 hours with myself, you know, just talking and then listening. Is that normal? I don't think so. Am I normal? No, but nobody's normal. You know, nobody's normal. I don't know, like, what that means, like, psychologically, like, if that's, like, super, super, super weird, like, concerning. Maybe it is concerning. Maybe I should be concerned, but I'm not. Yeah, but I save those videos, and honestly, if somebody sees them one day, I don't care. They're pretty funny, if you ask me. Like, I laugh when I watch them back. Yeah, they're slightly different than this, because with this, I'm doing it with the intention of posting it on YouTube. But with the ones that I do for myself, they're with the intention of, like, nobody's ever gonna see this. It's just me. So I speak differently. I look different, a little bit, kind of, and the angle is, like, weird, but it's because I don't care. But anyway, another thing that's really helped me is talking to friends. Well, y'all probably know this, but, like, allow yourself to be close to your friends. Let your guard down. Tell them your deepest, darkest secrets, because we all have them. We are all capable of having great, deep conversations, and trust me, you gain a lot from it. There's so much comfort in having a friend give you advice, you know, or be there for you, listen to you. I think that has been such a blessing for me. Like, I'm so grateful. Sometimes I forget. Like, I'm like, oh my god, these people are like family. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, but I feel like there's always this questioning at the back of my mind of, like, what is life? Like, you know, we all have that, and it's okay. I don't know what else I want to say. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to not feel okay. Probably sounds a bit cliche, but that's okay too. It's okay to mess up. But always tell yourself, like, you have to realize that you messed up and do something about it. It's okay to... What else? I don't know. It's okay if it takes you a long time to realize what the problem is. That's okay. You don't have to realize it right away. But yeah, time heals. Time is a really, really important. I'm trying to think of what else I want to say. It's so hard for me to do these videos because I don't plan them out. I just stalk. And then when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my god, Jana, like, you should have talked about this thing. I don't know. We're at this age, this weird age where, like, it's so easy to just not be fulfilled with anything because you're constantly comparing your life and yourself to other people, even when you don't notice it. It's just there. Like, I'm so addicted to my phone. Holy shit. Like, oh, I made a poem about it. I said this in the poem. I said the internet consumes me, and I no longer consume it. It feels like my phone has taken full control over me and the way that I live. And like, yes, I'm saying it. I feel like it's such a it's become so normalized that people can't even say it because they want to lie to themselves and be like, no, we don't have a problem. No, I have a problem. I'm addicted to my phone, and this addiction is harmful. It's all kinds of addiction. All kinds of addiction are bad addiction. Sorry, I was doing the grammar in my mind. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I am addicted to my phone. I don't know what to do about it. I've tried doing stuff about it. Like, sometimes I delete Instagram, but I re-download it like 2 days later, and I'm like, why? And like, I turn off my phone, but then I turn it back on, and like, I don't know how to deal with this issue. I don't. And maybe it's okay to not know. Maybe I'll reach a certain age and just get sick of it. And I just really hope that the you know what, I don't even want to say it. I just hope that it's not true. You know, I hope that it's not true, the whole thing with AI. That it's gonna take over. Like, I hope that's all just like you know, us being crazy. Like, I hope that's not true. I hope that the dystopian novels, you know, even though they're becoming real and we're seeing it in real time, I hope that they're not gonna be fully true. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I really don't. Look, it's starting to get dark. But yeah, my phone makes me really depressed, like really anxious. It gives me that instant gratification, but it fucks up my life in the long term. Yeah, I don't know what to do about my phone, to be honest. It's definitely one of those big factors that make me feel like I'm never satisfied with what I have in my life. But obviously I'm able to like still, you know, have other things other than my phone in my life, like journaling, talking to people, sitting with myself, and you know, I'm able to do that. But like, it's like my phone is definitely a big problem. Definitely. Anyway, hope this video helps. I don't know. I don't think anybody's gonna make it to 38 minutes of me talking about nonsense. Well, maybe. I'm so tired. Is there anything else I want to say? No, I don't think so. I think that's all I have to say. I've been procrastinating my assignment since yesterday. It's 8 p.m. and my assignment is due at midnight, and I still haven't started. And instead of starting, what did I do? I made this video. I cleaned my room. I went grocery shopping. I went to my friend's house and hung out with them. Like, I've just been doing every possible thing other than my assignment. So, yeah. Well, I guess I keep talking. No, I should stop. I just want to say that, like, I had to realize that, like, no matter what change I made in my life that I thought was gonna fix me, I still felt like shit. So I had to realize that it's not about what we think we want to have and able to feel happy. So stop chasing those things that you think will make you feel fulfilled, because if you keep chasing them, you're never going to feel fulfilled, and it's gonna make you feel more miserable. Yeah, like I made a video titled "Stop Waiting for Life to Happen." You know, like, stop waiting for these big changes in your life, because the truth is that you only feel good within yourself when you're able to feel fulfilled with what you have in the present moment. And if you're not able to feel fulfilled with what you have in the present moment, then accept that. You know, we're never gonna be fully fulfilled with what we have, but we're gonna be able to find little things that mean the world, you know? I have little things that just mean everything to me. And if I'm able to have those, then that's all that matters. There's this video for Anthony Bourdain, and he's he's talking about filling this void and all that, and he said something. He said, I paid rent today, and like that's amazing. And he was so happy, and like, yeah, like I think we forget about these very little mundane things. So I feel like just remembering them and writing them down or saying them out loud sometimes is very, very helpful. It doesn't matter where you are or what you have or what anything. None of it matters. What matters is just the way that you see it. So yeah, I'm for real gonna end it now. Like for real. Bye guys.